Hello Flosstube friends and Mirabilia lovers. I am Lisa and this is my channel, Cross by Floss, where I talk about the love of cross stitch as well as a lot of life blabbings. But today I am going to do my Mirabilia story, really. So if you are here, that's the title basically, is Miras. And I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit about how I got started into Mirabilias, because I was asked about that, as well as show you the patterns or the charts that I have started, not only for Mira Mania, but also some prior ones that I had started. And then just kind of a little chit chat about Miras. So let's get into that. So my Mirabilia journey started about 17 years ago, and it started with a couple of patterns that I received from a neighbor because we had had a house fire and I had lost a good majority of my cross-stitching items. Pretty much everything but my floss that was bobbinated and put into those, those plastic containers, and some leisure arts patterns that, pamphlet patterns that were with them. They got saved for some reason, in where no smoke damage, no fire damage, no water damage. For some reason, those survived, as well as the little sampler that I did when I was expecting my first son 30 years ago. So that also got saved. But everything else I lost. And so this kind lady gave me a couple of patterns and told me about a cross stitch store. And so I got these gorgeous patterns, and they were 2 Mirabilias. And she had given me one that had fabric with beads, and then the other one, she had given me the pattern with beads. Now, when I received the 2 kits, I had never beaded before, so I was already intimidated by that. And then I looked at the patterns, and holy doodles, they're huge. Like, this is back before Nora was putting them, I think, on both sides of the paper. It was just one huge piece of paper, and on one side. And so I was like, it's a big pattern to, deal with. At least the charts that I received, that's what my patterns look like. And so that was a little intimidating too. And then one of the patterns she'd given me came with linen. And I had never stitched on linen, and I didn't know how to stitch on linen, and I didn't have anybody around me to teach me. And so, this is before Flosstube came about, and YouTube videos 17 years ago were, no. And so I had only previously stitched on 14 count Aida and paper, the perforated paper. And that's all I knew how to stitch on. And I hadn't even done 16 count Aida. I hadn't done 18 count Aida. I didn't know anything about those sizes. I strictly did 14 count Aida. And so when I received this linen, I was like, I don't know how to use that. And so my patterns languished because I was intimidated by the fabric, and I was also intimidated by the beads, the Kreinik, and the size of the patterns. And so I felt, ooh, I'm gonna need to work up to these kinds of things. My experience level is not that good. And so when I finally went to the LNS that is in my area, which happens to be Threadneedle Street in Issaquah, and I met the owner, Denise, and I will not lie, I walked on in there, and it is a glorious shop of beautiful patterns, a huge amount of floss, and beads, and fabric. And then she also does needlepoint. Is it needlepoint? Sure. She's got a huge section of that as well. And when you walk into the shop, the first thing you see is the Mirabilias. And that's, that's what I knew. This was a whole new world for me, because previously I worked from kits, or I worked from the leisure art books that you could buy from Joann's, Michael's, or even the yarn / cross-stitch stores in my area in Canada. And so I was, super intimidated. And so I gravitated towards the Mirabilias because they're beautiful. And I would pick one up and I would look at the back, and it would have things like linen on it. And this was before, I think that some of her patterns only say linen on them. They don't actually have the Aida equivalent. But then eventually the patterns started having the Aida equivalent on them. But the ones that I first started getting did not have that. It was just the linen. And so I was like, well, I love the patterns and I must buy those. And so I did. But I was really intimidated, and I didn't know how to ask Denise, what kind of fabric should I use for this? And, let me buy up all the beads and the floss that I need and that kind of thing. And like Karen water lilies, never worked with those. Krynic, I tried that once on a Halloween pattern, hated it so much. It never got finished. In fact, I think it got trashed. And so, it was, I was super intimidated, but the patterns were beautiful. And for some reason, something said to me, just buy them, just buy them. And so I would go in there randomly, maybe twice a year, and I would pick up a new pattern, and I would bring it home, and it would just go in a pile. And then one day she said to me, have you done any of those? And I said, oh, no. And she said, well, there are some free patterns that Nora has put out, and she puts them on a website, but Denise also had copies of those free patterns. And so she led me over to the basket where the free patterns were, and she said, you can pick any of these that you would like. And so they are either paper or, well, that's upside down, either paper, or they were cardstock. They have, well, they're free. They have the pattern on them. Cardstock of them. And so I picked up these 5 patterns from her over a period of a couple of years. She does, to my knowledge, she does not have these anymore. At least I don't know that there's a free basket anymore of like freebie patterns. But so I picked these up. Now they are considerably smaller. Like if you look at this one here, that is a much smaller pattern than her Miras. So this one is, let's see if I can find it super quick. This count, the stitch count is 92 by 85. Well, most of her Miras are in the high hundreds, maybe even 200 by 200, somewhere in there, so, half the size really. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can start that, because these also have Krynic and they also call for beads. Not as many as in a pattern, like a regular pattern. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try these. I've never done one of them either. They've sat in my stash for a while. But if you are thinking about doing a Mirabilia and you're a little intimidated like I was, which you shouldn't be, because honestly, if you know how to cross stitch, which that's probably why you're watching, they're just X's, right? Like it's just X's on fabric. And so then you add a few beads and you add a bit of that double floss, aka Krynic. So it shouldn't be intimidating. But on the Witchelt website, like if you go to mirabilia.com, it takes you to the Witchelt's website, and on there she's got there's a little tab and it says free charts. and you go on there, and not only are these charts on there, but there's more. So once, for quite a few years, she was doing like a Christmas angel kind of thing, and then she stopped, and it was like every other year, and then it was like, then she took a bit of a break and she did some others. But if you also go on, and I'm going to try and link these websites down below, but if you go on to, I don't remember the website, there's a couple of other free patterns that she has done, like for Australia, like the Australia retreats. You can actually find the free pattern that was for that retreat on these websites. So like I said, I'll try and link that below. So that was kind of my journey into Mirabilias, and I collected probably 20 charts before I even started one. And of course I couldn't start one that I had already purchased and was in my stash. No, I found another one that I started and kitted up while I was there, and it was Ella. It was Ella the Frog Princess. And this was the time when my granddaughter was born, and her name is Ella. And I thought, wow, that's, she's beautiful, first off. And so I picked up Ella, and I thought, well, that would be a beautiful Mirabilia to do for my granddaughter. And I think I bought her 9 years ago. My granddaughter is now 10. And you'll see how much I have actually gotten started on it as I go through the WIPs. And over a period of time, I started like buying the beads, you know, as I could afford them, and you know, picking up the Caron water lilies here and there, because those are fairly expensive. And finding floss, you know, during sales at Joann's, and I would just randomly pick a pattern and just buy all of the floss for that pattern, and started kitting them up. And then when I started like getting into some of the fabric of the month clubs, I would purposely buy fabric for a certain Mirabilia that I thought that I wanted. And I also realized that the 32 count linen that was typically recommended for the pattern, words are hard sometimes, that was recommended for the pattern actually was a 16 count Aida. And so that would accommodate the beads properly. And so those are all things that I learned from Flosstube. I didn't know that stuff, and I was too shy to ask Denise. And I know that if I had asked her, she would have told me everything. But I have since overcome that. And I pick her brain all the time for things. And she is a fantastic wealth of knowledge, but you have to ask. And you know, she can't read your mind. She doesn't know if you know this stuff, or if you're on board, or if you have stuff at home, and you know, and so because I didn't know, I didn't know. And but along with Ella, I think that same year I purchased Red, and Red just spoke to me. Red was, I mean, there are patterns that I bought before, but they're sitting in my basket. And like Shakespeare's Fairies, I bought that, like that was probably one of my first patterns within the top 5 patterns that I purchased before Ella, you know, or Red, or Alice even. And those were the ones that I ended up like kitting up first and getting ready. Archangel, because he was unusual, he was a male, and Nora does not do very many male patterns. And so when I saw Archangel, I was like, well, I'm gonna need to buy him. And so he also was one of the first patterns that I purchased as well, but he has so much Krennic in him. And again, I'm super intimidated. So anywho, that is kind of my little story of my Mirabilias. Well, you know, when Joann's would have a sale, like I said, I would take a pattern and I would just buy all the flosses for that. And I would put them in a bag with their name. And at the time I'd asked my ex-husband to take the patterns to work so that he could enlarge them because I couldn't work off of the chart. It was so huge. And to enlarge them a little bit for me, but also to put them on different pages so that I had like a working copy. And so I would put all that, you know, together into just a plastic bag because who knew about project bags back then? And then it would just languish. And so when I met Mr. G, and we discovered that we kind of like sports, and I'm a football nut. And I remember sitting on the bed with these bags of floss that went with patterns, and I would just bobbinate like for hours on these patterns. And I would then write on the outside, or probably on a bag, yeah, on the baggie inside, I would write the name of the pattern in the box so that I knew that that was the box for that pattern. And so I have a couple of those boxes that I had done that with, but I still never started the pattern, never started the chart, had all the stuff. But again, when you're bobbinating all of those, like before I knew about Hades or anything, I'm like, oh, that is a lot of floss. Like, just as an example, red, as I was doing them all, that's a lot of floss. I don't think I've ever used that much floss in any kind of kit, chart, anything that I had done previously. So that already was very intimidating. And I think actually some of these are missing because I've had to borrow them. But I was like, yeah. But yeah, no, I did. I would sit, I would bobbinate for hours. Well, since then, I have found that bobbins are not my method of floss keeping. I really like the floss tags, and even so much, I do have a Hade, and I have actually kitted up my Hade with the floss tags. I just separate, I have 4 floss tags instead, or floss rings instead of, you know, a couple of jumbo, because there's just a lot of floss and they'll get tangled and whatever. But that works for me because I use the loop method, and it works for me. That's my preferred method. And so I will use up what I have bobbinated, but that is not going to be my method in the future. So anywho's it, he thought I was crazy. He's like, what are you using all that floss for? And you know, like he thought that I was crazy. And he also realized I'm kind of like the craft girl, and I would have, you know, I had 3 different crafts going on. I was crocheting, I was bobbinating for an eventual cross stitch kit, and no, I did do a cross stitch kit with him as well, but it was for my granddaughter's small one. And I was doing wreaths at the time too. And so he was like, oh, this one, I'm sure he was like, this woman's crazy because she keeps bringing this crap to my house. And it doesn't leave. Oh, and then I got into diamond painting. Oh, the poor man. Yeah. He really probably thought that first year we were together, he was like, I don't know about this girl. You know, she buys all this stuff, but she doesn't do anything with it. Anywho, okay, so that long-winded, that is my Mirabilia story. So let's get into the Miras that I actually started. So I'll do a little bit of a WIP parade on the Miras. And let's start with the most recent ones. The ones that I did for Mira Mania. And I'll try and do them, I think I can do them in order. So the very first one that I started was red. And like I said, when I first found red, she just spoke to me. She's gorgeous. And there are a few people who have done conversions of her to make like, I've seen blue, I've seen green, I've seen a purple, and they're all absolutely beautiful. But I think she's gorgeous in red. And so Yeah, and I will also try and link the Facebook groups below. I'm not a fantastic Facebook user though. Like I'll join the groups because, you know, I want to know the information, but I'm not really good at being a part of the group. I'm horrible. I'm horrible with social media. It's bad. Okay, so this pattern, I started from the bottom of her dress, and that's what I got done during the 5 days of Mira Mania. For Mira Mania, if you have not watched my Mira Mania videos, what I did was each Monday I started a Mira, and I would work on her for 5 days, or on that Mira for 5 days. And then the next Monday I would start a new one. So in 5 days, that's what I got done on red. And she is absolutely beautiful. What did surprise me though, and I don't know why I didn't realize this when I was kitting it up and bobbinating and whatever, but there's brown in red in the bottom of her dress. And I did not realize that when I was doing it. So, you know, I'm going along and I'm doing the red and the black and the gray, and then it calls for this brown and I'm like, oh, that's weird. But it goes, it totally goes. So, okay, the next one I did was Fairy Flora. I'm pretty sure Fairy Flora was the second one that I did. And this is Fairy Flora. Now this was gifted to me by a wonderful YouTube Flosstube viewer, goodness sakes. Like I said, words are hard. And I was just so thrilled to receive this. And she's come to a good home. And I also started her on the bottom, and that's what I got done in the 5 days on her as well. And I was very surprised by how much pink and purple was in here. I did not realize, when you look at the picture, I did not realize that it was so pink and purple. And those are not my favorite colors, but holy good night nurse, is this beautiful. She's gorgeous. Like, the colors are absolutely stunning. And I had thought at first that I would give her to my granddaughter, but I'm not going to. Look, she's redhead. She's redhead. And that actually was very close to the color that I was when I was younger. I know it does not look like it now. My hair is considerably darkened up because of children. But I was that red back in the day. So she is going to stay here when I get her done. Or hopefully I get her done. Okay, the next one I worked on was Millennium Angel. And this is the one that was given to me. And she's absolutely gorgeous. And this is what I've gotten done on her in the 5 days. So this one I really liked because, yes, there's pink in it, and there's actually quite a bit of pink. As you can see, there's a lot of pink. But this green, the green that is used really kind of tones down that a little bit. And anyways, it works for me, and it's really, really pretty. I should tell you what fabrics I'm working on, and I didn't, did I? I'll try and link that in the description box below, because off the top of my head, I don't remember now. So the next one I did for week 4 was Ophelia. And when I saw Ophelia, I was blown away. She is, not only is she gorgeous, but she's also every single one of the colors that I love. She's beautiful. She's got corals and oranges and greens and golds, and she's beautiful, beautiful. And so at my LNS, Denise always has the latest Mirabilia sitting on the counter, just, you know, on a stand. And quite frankly, I've lost all track of time. I don't know what month I'm in, what day it is, anything. And so I had not realized that a new Mirabilia had been released. And so when I looked over as we're chatting and she's ringing me up and, you know, I'm done. I've finished. I look over and I said to her, oh my goodness, is that the newest Mira? And she goes, oh yeah. I said, Denise, we're going to need to kit her up like right now. So I purchased the Caron water lilies for her and the beads. I believe I bought the beads. I think I did. And so, and you know, frankly, I have a huge amount of DMC floss at home. And so I just, you know, looked at kind of what it was, and I will supplement as needed. And, but she is the latest chart, but it is June. And so on the 15th, a new Mirabilia should be being released. And so can't wait to see what she looks like. But anyways, this one I started up in the corner, which I normally do with patterns, but the previous 3 Mirabilias I actually had started in the bottom. And that one I started in the top, and that's what I got done in 5 days. I just couldn't wait. Like this section over here is complete except for the Caron water lilies. And oh, just, she's stunning. And I'm doing this on a piece of 16 count Ada in the color Sage. And I think it called for Sage Summer Khaki. And I'm not sure what the difference is, but I had a piece of Sage, and I have since gone on to 1, 2, 3 Stitch. We won't talk about that, but purchased some Sage / Summer Khaki. So we'll see what the difference is in that. But that was week 4. And then my final week, Mr. G was home, and it was Memorial Day. And I had truly thought about doing either Lady of the Flag or Queen of Freedom, both of which I have in my stash. But I had decided that, you know, there's been so many wonderful floss tubers who have, and Instagrammers who are currently doing either one of them, or even Lady Justice. And so I just decided, you know, let's do something different. And I will pick up both Lady of the Flag and Queen of Freedom at a later date. But so I pulled out, I looked at what I had previously done, and I realized I didn't have a mermaid. I had a fancy lady, I had some fairies, but I did not have, well, I had 2 fancy ladies and 2 fairies, but I did not have a mermaid. So I was like, well, let's pull out a mermaid. So I went through my charts and I looked at the fabric that I had and the floss that I had, and I chose 2 charts. And because Mr. G was home, I had him pick. I put them both up and I said, which one? And he chose this one. And so this is Shimmering Mermaid. And I'm really happy he did. I mean, I also had Emerald Mermaid was my second choice. Now that's the one that I would have chosen because well, she's beautiful as well, but she's all greens. It's gorgeous. And so, but he likes the blues and purples. And so I was like, I mean, they're both beautiful, not a problem. So she also got a start in the bottom, and let's see if you can see that. And so that's what I got done there in 5 days. So, and so there's about 5 purples, maybe 5 purples in Shimmering Mermaid. And I have already used 3 of them in this pattern, but she is beautiful. She's got a lot of beads. There's a lot of beads in the bottom of like her tail, and she's called Shimmering Mermaid for a reason. There's a lot of beads, and there's actually quite a lot of Kreinik. So, or Kreinik, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Anyway, so that was Miramania. Then over, I think last year, maybe the year before. I don't remember. Again, remember, I'm not good with dates, and that's probably not why you come see me, because yeah. But I started, so I don't remember which one I started first, if it was Archangel or Ella. I don't remember. But let's go through the WIPs. I only have 4 of them, only. I have started 4. And so this one I started, Archangel was one of the top 5 patterns I think I bought one year, or over a course of 2 years. And it was Archangel. And when I saw him, he was, I mean, like I had mentioned in the beginning, Nora does not do very many male patterns. And so when I saw him, I was like, well, I'm going to need to buy him, like, because he's unusual. And he's gorgeous. He is just gorgeous. But I was real intimidated because there's a lot of Kreinik in here, and one of them, he has 2 spools of Kreinik. Yeah, that's more the gold color, I think. And he's got 6 packages of one type of bead. Now they are bigger beads, which is the reason why it's 6, but it's these big ones, and you probably can't see that, but it's the big ones up in the top here. There's 6 packages of those. So but he's got a very small floss list. So, you know, it was like, hey, oh wait, whatever. Now, I did not realize this when I first started, and I don't know why, but this is a Fabrics by LJ fabric that I bought for Archangel specifically. And it's an 18 count. Not a 16 count, but I did not, for whatever reason, I did not clue in. So my beads might stand out a little more, especially the bigger ones. And then there's a package of 02011, and I'm going to have to go and see if maybe is it Delica beads? I think that they're a bit smaller. So I'll have to see if these are the petite beads, and if so, then it's going to be fine. And if not, I will have to see if I need to revamp that, or if the original bead will look fine on this fabric. Who knows? I don't know. I don't bead till the end though, so surprise. But that's what I got done so far on him, and I'm going to pull him back out. I really love working on him, and I did start. I have gotten some of that icky devil floss in here. There's some of the Kreinik in his wings, but oh, he's stunning. He's stunning, and I want him up on my wall. So he is definitely going to get pulled out, and I'll talk about some of those plans at the end here. I know, this is a long video for Miras, I'm sorry. Then, like I had mentioned, Ella. I had started Ella, and I started Ella on my granddaughter's birthday. Was it last year for Mania? It might have been last year for Mania. I might have also done a Mira Mania, not a Mira Mania, but like Mira Monday Mania. Maybe. I don't remember what I did, quite frankly. I don't remember anything. But I'm fairly certain that I did start this last year on her birthday. And that is what she looks like. Ella the Frog Princess. I adore her. I just adore her. Not only is her face gorgeous, her face is gorgeous, but that little plop of green, you know, for the frog is just like so, it's unexpected, you know, from this beautiful girl. And then she's got this plop of green. And so when I told my granddaughter that I was doing this for her, because it's her, you know, her name and everything, she has been bugging me ever since. When are you going to get her done? When are you going to get her done? Like, girl, do you not understand? This is, this is a commitment. But I started her, and and she's gorgeous. And I've got some of her face done, and I've been working on her bodice and her hair, and she's just beautiful. And yeah, I just, she's so pretty. Now, do I remember what fabric I'm using? Let's see if it says in here really quick. Sometimes I keep the tags for the, this is before I was actually organizing better. No, sorry, I don't remember. And I don't even remember if it's a Be Stitch Me fabric or a color and cotton fabric. It would be in my video though, so if I can remember and I go back, I'll put it in. Now, another one I started was Alice. And Alice also is a beauty. Alice has a very strong magnet on her. Ooh, yeah, she does. Okay, so I purchased this at Acorns and Threads in Oregon, the LNS out there, and Acorns and Threads is a fantastic store as well if you are looking for an LNS in Oregon. And when I saw Alice, you know, honestly, I like fairy tales. I really like, you know, the whole, but she again is very pink, and yet I was drawn to her, and the purple fabric is just like gorgeous. It's a Violet Mist for a 16 count Aida. And so, you know, I started going with color and cotton and Be Stitch Me fabrics. And again, I don't remember which one this is. Let's see if, again, nope, it's not in here. Nope, not in here either. It might even be a Misty fabric. I truly don't remember, but I just, this fabric, when it came to me, it was in, I don't remember, goodness sakes. But when I got this fabric, I was like, oh my gosh, she needs to go with Alice, like perfect. Because I bought Alice without buying fabric or anything. She just spoke to me. And so I was like, let's buy Alice. And so that is the amount that I've gotten done. And unfortunately, I've not picked her up in more than a year. I really should. I think I started getting intimidated because apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think if I read the pattern correctly, there's a lot of French knots that go around the border. And nobody's gonna know if I make them X's. But at first I was like, ooh, that's a lot of, you know, but since I've joined Flosstube land, I have learned that it's okay to alter your patterns. It's okay, you don't have to make it the way that it is in the chart. If, you know, you don't know how to do something, make it your own. And so that's what I learned in that. And so, and I do know how to do French knots. I actually can do fairly good French knots, but it was the amount of French knots. And I was like, oh, that's a lot. And I am also a bit of a perfectionist. I know I shouldn't be, but I am a bit of a perfectionist. And I'm going to need to make my, you know, French knots uniform, and they may not, and I would drive myself insane. So, so anyways, Alice also needs to make an appearance because really she has not, I don't know why I haven't pulled Alice back out, but she's beautiful too. So she needs to make an appearance. And then the last Mira WIP that I have is Enchanted Mermaid. Now, I mean, I love mermaids to begin with. I am a water baby. I love the water. When I was younger, I thought that I wanted to be a marine biologist. You know, I feel like dolphins are my spirit animal. And I just, you know, like when Ariel came out for Disney, I was like, okay, I don't even care if a kid isn't going to watch it with me. I'm watching it. thankfully my daughter loved it, so we're good. But I loved it. I loved it. And so when I saw Enchanted Mermaid, and here's the weird thing, I love the mermaids, and I don't know why I have not purchased more mermaids. I have more fancy ladies than I have mermaids, which is kind of odd. Like, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, why do I not have as many mermaids? I love the mermaids, but, and of course some of them have gone out of print. And so I'm like, okay, well now I need to find that mermaid. I don't know what I was doing. But anyways, Enchanted Mermaid, she's gorgeous. She looks so regal, and honestly, she looks like one of the regal queens, right? Like, she's gorgeous. She's just gorgeous. And I am doing this on a piece of Ada that Denise helped me pick out. I don't remember the color. Oh, well, maybe I do. I think that it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of the Twilight Blue linen by Witchelt. It's that the queen with the reindeer. What's her name? I have her too. What's her name? Oh my goodness. Okay, I have her. I just can't. It's the Snow Queen. It's the same. Oh, it's Twilight Blue Ada. And so she cut me a great big piece, and then we figured out the measurements for both the Snow Queen and for Enchanted Mermaid, and she cut them to accommodate both patterns. So that was awesome. So, and that's what I've gotten done on Enchanted Mermaid. I started up in her hair. There's a lot of hair. She's got a lot of hair. But she is beautiful. And I really need to get on her as well. So those are all of my Mira WIPs. Sorry, that took a while, but you know, I have life blabbings and I have to blab about those things. Now, I'm really and truly not joking when I tell you that I have quite a few Miras. Let's put all of these guys away so I don't lose them. Okay. Yeah, I'm not kidding when I tell you that I have a lot of Miras. So I have a basket. This is my basket of just Mira patterns. And yep, there's more in the back here too. And I keep collecting. And in fact, I did an order at 123 Stitch and I bought a few more. But as I was doing Mira Mania, I was like, Lisa, why are you not? You have so many beautiful patterns, and it's a shame to have them just languishing in a basket. Like, either do something with them or give them to somebody who's going to love them. And I don't think you can love them as much as me. So they must stay here. And in fact, I'm looking for some out of print ones, and I'm going to have to do a call out because I'm not paying $100 for some. Oh my goodness. Speaking of, I was on eBay the other day, and I saw Shimmering Mermaid, which is one of the out of print, and just came out of print, I guess in April maybe. And she's already going for like $45 online for a used pattern. And I'm like, for real? Like, I think it's a shame. And the same with, was it Queen of Freedom or Lady of the Flag? I don't remember which one, but one of them was $550. That's not okay. I just don't think that that's okay. I mean, you do you, obviously, but I would never, you know, when my patterns are done and I'm done with mine, I would love to give them to a good home. And I hope to be able to reciprocate that as well, because I can't afford $100 or $500 for a pattern. That's crazy pants. And then you still got to kit it up. And they're not cheap, especially with all the beads and specialty floss and that kind of thing. So anyway, it's my little spiel. But because I do have a lot of patterns, and I was like, I just need to get some of these started and up on the walls. Like, I have all of the queens, the summer, spring, winter, fall queens. I have beautiful, beautiful. Like this one, she happens to be one of my favorites. The Woodland Fairy, and she also was gifted to me, and I love her. And Tatiana, the fairy, she's gorgeous as well. I recently picked up the butterfly fairy from, not the butterfly, but butterfly fairy from, unbelievably, I found this at Linens and Threads. Nope. Acorns and Threads. I found her at Acorns and Threads. I did not realize that it was an out of print chart. She's also going for a ton of money online. I'm like, nope. I mean, I got her at Acorns and Threads. And yes, I'm sorry, I got the last one. But I have like just beautiful. This was one of the first mermaids that I purchased, was Bluebeard's princess. And I just, when I saw her, I was like, she's beautiful. And this is Shakespeare's Fairies. This is the first one that I purchased. One of the first ones. It's not the first one, but one of the first ones that I purchased the first year that I was going to Denise's. And no, that can't be right. Because this was, oh yeah, no, that's right. 2009. No, that can't be right. Huh. Anyways, it must not be one of the first, but I do recall finding this one and thinking, oh, I love the fabric. And because there were the 3 fairies on there, and I thought, well, for myself, my daughter, and my yes, it had to have been later because my granddaughter was born. Yeah. Again, you guys, I can't remember anything. I have to talk to remember myself. People think that I embellish. I really don't. But yeah, I have Lady Mirabilia with her bead kit, and Garden Prelude. This one's beautiful. They're all beautiful. But yeah, I have so many of them, and I'm like, why am I not doing them? So what I thought was, and I had mentioned this in a couple of other videos, the Mira Mania videos, that maybe I would start like doing Mira Monday. And each Monday, just working on a Mira. And it doesn't matter which one, whether I kit up a new one and start one, or work on one of my existing WIPs, just work on Mira Monday. And so I was looking at a couple of hashtags this morning, and I think the hashtag, don't quote me, but if it's right, I'm gonna link it, or I'll put it down below. But I think it's going to be Mira Monday stitching. Because there's already a Mira Monday, and they've got like a bunch of babies in there, and other pictures, and it's not cross-stitch related in any way, shape, or form. And so I think that Mira Monday's stitching is, or maybe it'll be stitching Mira Mondays. No, Mira Monday's stitching sounds better, right? Yeah. And so... And so that's what I think I'm going to do. So if you would like to join in, that's going to just be an ongoing thing. Every Monday, I'm just going to pick up one of my Miras and stitch on that, and then, post it for the hashtag. And if you would like to join in and stitch Mira Mondays, then fantastic. Join me. I would love that and love to see your progress. And, I might like do new ones or post like the newest Miras or whatever. It's just, y'all know how I feel about sales, and I'm not good at keeping up and that kind of thing. But I feel that Mondays are hard for me for work because, but I can always, put in even a half hour of stitching or, a couple of threads or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do is Mira Mondays, and just every Monday from here till Kingdom Come, because I have a lot of patterns to go to Kingdom Come with me. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And don't be intimidated by a Mira. And like I said, there are some free charts out there from Witchelt, on the Witchelt website, or just I'm going to link it down below, but the Mirabilia.com website, and you go there, there's a little tab that says free charts. You know, choose one of those. They don't have a huge floss list. They don't have a huge chronic list. They don't have a huge bead list. So, and you will end up with a beautiful Mira, and I think that it will gain some confidence if you're, you know, intimidated or undecided about doing a large Mira. Now, they're not as big as a Haid, so, you know, and they are not full coverage. They, you know, it's not from corner to corner full coverage. There's a lot of them have beautiful borders, and, you know, but it's not a complete full coverage. So, yeah. That's my story. That's my Mirabilia story. So that's what I'm going to do is Mira Monday stitching and hashtag. And so if you're interested, come join me. I would love that. And share the love of Miras with others, because they are gorgeous. And I will honestly say, I regret that I have been collecting them for 16, 17 years. And not only have I never, ever finished one, but it took me 15 years to start one. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, because in all that time I could have had several of them up on my wall and enjoyed them. And, you know, again, it's just one cross at a time, right? So yeah, even if there is devil floss. I'm going to get over it. I'm sure I will. All right, I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry for so much blabbing, but I really, you know, I want to share the love of not only cross stitching, but the excitement and exuberance and beauty of Mirabilias. And let's look forward to whatever is going to be released in a few more days. Yeah, I think it gets released on the 15th, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. I'm sure people in the know already know, but I'm not in the know, so whatever, and I'm going to be surprised. I will be on that website, you know, clicking, seeing what's new. Okay, I hope you all have a really wonderful day and a great week, and I hope you join me. And until next time, I will see you then.